Hey guys, a good morning and a warm welcome to your channel. I am going to give some guidelines regarding today's Hindu article. Before that, let's see a very important quote. The quote is picked up from the article of the opinion page. What we need today is social justice. It is a very important quote. The tying of national interest to global capital has not only produced adverse and livelihood-threatening consequences for the masses of the country, it has also deprived India of the higher moral pedestal in foreign policy. Whenever you find any topic related to globalization, capitalization, and liberalization, you can put this quote. This quote is actually very important in the present context of globalization. It says that when we are bowing down before the capitalism, when we are bowing down in front of growing globalization, it is not only we are not only sacrificing our national interest to global capital, we are not only losing our national interest, but also we are losing our fundamental basis of foreign policy. This is a very important, relevant, and meaningful quote. The article what we need today is social justice. This article is important in the sense that it throws light the adverse impacts of globalization and capitalization on society as well as economy. This is a topic from your for your paper GS1, 2, and GS3 as well. So we have to read the article in a discrete way. Discrete way means that this article actually has some irrelevant context, some political references. We must have to very carefully avoid them. And to understand the article, we must have to understand some terms. For example, crony capitalism. What is crony capitalism? It is a business relationship between businessmen and government officials influenced by partisan policy and favoritism. That means in crony capitalism, the relationship between government officials and businessmen determines the whole business scenario, which is very much inimical to the economy as well as society. Here some prelims point of view, crony capitalism index, global wealth report. Again, neoliberalism. Neoliberalism means what? Laissez-faire economy means it is a free market economy where there is almost zero interference from the government side. Means eliminating every kind of trade barrier. Again, another term is social justice, an equitable environment where individuals can avail the benefits of state and institutions without any discrimination. So you must have to understand all these three terms, and you have to interlink that crony capitalism and neoliberalism to the globalization. The article tries to say that in this age of globalization, how we are sacrificing our national interests to the global capital means under the influence of crony capitalism and under the influence of neoliberalism, how we are losing the national interest, how we are harming the social equalities, or how this crony capitalism, neoliberalism has contributed to a kind of social discrimination as well as economic discrimination. This is the core of the article actually. So what we have to see means globalization, under the threat of globalization or under the shade of globalization, what is the role of crony capitalism and neoliberalism in economy? Means that article tries to say that when we are transiting, when we are moving, right, when we are moving to a much more modern era, when we are putting our steps to a much more globalized era, when we are engaging much more private entrepreneurs, when we are engaging much more private partners to our industry, to our economy, to our business, then what influences they have been impacted on our society and economy? In the whole sphere of globalization, where there is which is determined much more by a capitalist industry, which is determined much more by the crony capitalism, in under such a huge interplay of complex web, how we are harming our national economy, how we are losing the decision making power to decide about the economic policies ourselves, how we are losing the decision making power to determine the foreign policy ourselves, how these how this industrialist, how the relationship of crony capitalism has influenced the decision making power of our economy, has influenced the decision making power of our foreign policy. This is the core of the article. Actually, this is the message which we have to examine. This is the thing which we have to prepare note from this article. Means crony capitalism plus neoliberalism, how they have impacted economy, and under this how social, political, foreign policy era and other economic aspects have been drastically changed under this shade of globalization. Right, the mask of globalization which has pervaded crony capitalism and neoliberalism, and how it has impacted economy, social aspects, political aspects, and foreign policy aspects. And not only this, it has when we have to prepare the base, when we have to prepare the domestic base for education, health, employment ourselves, we are inviting foreign partners to bind us in terms of education, in terms of health, inviting much more dangerous threat to the common people, because common people have not been able to cope up with this privatization demand. Yeah, they have not been able to cope up this capitalist demand in terms of education and health. They have not been able to bear common people have not been able to bear the brunt of globalization, and as a result of this, common people has losing the entry into the most basic fields like education, health, employment, and it has also created social disparities. So this is the core of the article. We have to prepare notes from this point of view. There is an article in National Pay column of the Hindu newspaper, Center Creating Shortage of Gunny Bags. Let's keep aside the political matter. Here, what you have to notice is what is gunny bags. Gunny bags are prepared from natural fiber. This is environment friendly. It can be prepared any kind of natural fiber like jute. This is important. You might face questions in pre. Another important article is that India, UK in talks to build a naval supercarrier called copycat supercarrier named as INS Vishal. This article is important, not only important from this aspect of view, but this article has bring the context of aircraft carrier. So we have to prepare a wholesome note for this topic, aircraft carrier, its advantages and disadvantages. What is aircraft carrier? You can say it is a sea-based airport from where fighting jets fly. Right, it is a sea-based airport, to say in one sentence, one word. Then what we have to prepare the history of Indian aircraft carrier. What are the aircraft carriers which have been retired, or what are the current aircraft carrier in Indian Navy? And here you see regarding INS Vikrant, it is the first aircraft carrier to be built in India. INS Vikrant is the indigenously built aircraft carrier, and here one important prelims point of view is that Stover system. You try to find out that this aircraft carrier actually is run by Stover system. So this is important for pre. What is Stover system? Again, from prelims point of view, you might find question like which of the following is not a aircraft carrier in India, and here you have to also find out which of the following aircraft carrier is running under Indian Navy currently, or which of the following aircraft carrier has already been retired. So these two perspectives you have to prepare. For example, INS Vikrant, INS Virat, Admiral Gorshkov, INS Vikramaditya, INS Vishal. Which of the following is actually under construction, which has been under commission, and which is retired? You have to prepare all the details from here to face any kind of prelims question as well. And coming to the mains point of view, you will see then you have to prepare then what are the advantages and disadvantages of the aircraft carrier. For example, predominant force in Indian Ocean. Then you have to show it how behaving a aircraft carrier can strongly impose the dominance of India in Indian Ocean, like what are the present threats at present scenario in Indian Ocean, what are the confronting view India is facing in Indian Ocean, and how having an aircraft carrier can help in tackling this situation. right? In that way, strong deterrent force. How having a aircraft carrier can be a strong deterrent force? Here you have to also cite the aircraft carrier in China, whether India is capable to compete with China in terms of aircraft carrier, right? In that way, coming to the concerns, actually expertise. Having a aircraft carrier is not enough. It requires very much sophisticated expertise to run, operate, and repair it, right? So this is one of the concerns, that to what extent India can afford such an expertise. Like in case of that means whether Indian sea bases have provided whether Indian sea bases have provided can accommodate such kind of large aircraft carrier, and it is expensive. Most of the aircraft carriers are actually imported from India. Then what are the alternative opportunities for indigenously built aircraft carrier in India? So you have to prepare notes from this article.